Here we go, St. Michael Mustangs Invitational Tournament, one of the largest high school hockey tournaments in North America. We're facing off against Nelson from Burlington, Ontario. We got Larsh on the draw, O'Kane on the wing with Holden, Gilbert on the back end with Crossweight. Starting goalie, Kessler Kuzis. Get the puck into Burlington zone to start. Get back to the blue line. We fire that in, hit the official. He's all right, though. Puck goes in the corner. Behind the net, Larsh, O'Kane after it, but it comes out. Burlington gets it in the zone. Shot off the glove. Goes behind the net. Burlington sends it back down low. Shot blocked. Comes up the side. Picked up by Crossweight. He chips that out of the zone. Allows some players to change. Out come Noble, Judd, and Young up front. Puck goes out of bounds. We're going to face off in front of our bench. Puck's back in our zone. Shot cleared away by the goalie. Young keeps it in. Now Nelson sends it up the other way. And Judd picks up the loose puck in the zone, takes it up over the red line, chips it in. Young goes in for some pressure, puts it on the net. Noble follows it in. Now Gauchi with some pressure, but puck comes out of the zone. Alex chips it up. Billard with the puck, chips it up for Marshfield. Marshfield gets it in the zone. Pass in front. Gauchi gets a piece of it. He's behind the net now. On the side, Carson keeps it in. Nelson gets it back out into the neutral zone. Into St. Charles territory. Can't get a shot. Puck goes behind the net. Nelson gets it out front. Taken away by Gauchi. Over for Billard. Up for Marshfield. He dumps it in at by Gauchi. Over for Billard. Up for Marshfield. He dumps it in at the red line on net. Sends it down low. Back in the corner for Regan. Sends it back to the blue line. Send it back in. Now Nelson chips it up center. In the zone 2-on-2 in the high slot. Shot fired. Big save. Rebound. Picked up by St. Charles. That's Markowicz with the puck, takes it into the zone, gets a shot, goalie gets a pad on it, and pulls in the rebound. Comes out in the St. Charles zone, knocked over the blue line, picked up by Nelson. They go D to D, back up the neutral zone. Larsh gets a puck back for again the slot. Larsh with a hit, shot made, save is made, rebounds loose, cleared away by Kessler. Now we chip the puck away. It's knocked back in by Nelson. Puck bounces back in the zone, cleared away by Gilbert. High shot blocked. O'Kane picks it up, sends it down the ice. Icing called, even though the player didn't make an attempt for it. Crossway gets the puck off the draw, behind the net. Reverses back around. Wiersbicky. Young chips it up, help from Judd. Judd shot on net, rebound behind the net. Judd's working at it. He's got some pressure, Noble helping him out. Puck comes out the other side. Pressure from St. Charles, but out comes Nelson. They enter the zone. Crossway keeps him outside, plays the body. Now Wiersbicky gets a puck. Comes up the side with it. Up for Young. Young to Noble. Noble into the zone. Sends it around. Judd's going to leave that for Crossway. Crossway down for Judd. Judd sends that around. Nelson sends that back down low. Pressure from St. Charles. Judd's there to keep it in. Young's helping out down low. In comes Noble. He gets a piece of the puck over for Young. Young working it. Trying to get it out front. Hits the skate. Still working at it. Gets it out front now. Knocked away by Nelson. In comes Wiersbicky. Sends that down low. Back for Crossway. He fires that on net. Goalie sends that away. Pinned. Comes around with it. Gets that for Carson. Carson walks out. Can't get the shot. It's cleared back to Wiersbicky. He gets a shot. Blocked in front. Gauchi gets a piece of it, but it's cleared away by Nelson. They come up to the neutral zone. Little toe drag. No shot, and pass doesn't connect. Comes out of the zone. Pressure from Marshfield. Back in Sebri zone. Puck comes out front. Up for Marshfield. And we're back in Nelson territory. Shot on net. Glove save. Rebound held on to. Off the draw, Billard gets it, turns, sends it down low for Marshfield. Puck comes up to the blue line. Marshfield keeps it in. Nelson gets that out. Nice and waved off Markowicz, over for McLean, up for Billard. Marshfield gets it over the blue line. Now Billard picks up a loose puck, comes up to the neutral zone. A little bit of trouble, and Nelson sends it back in, off ice and waved off. McLean gets there. He's got some speed coming up the side with it. He gets the red line in the Nelson territory. Nelson sends that down. That should be icing. But nope. McLean sends it up for O'Kane. Try to get a cross ice pass. Nelson's in the way. 4.5 minutes to go in the first period. Out. Again to the zone, knocked away by Markowicz. Now Kane gets the puck into the zone. Gets a shot off the goalie's head. Nelson sends it around the boards. It's out of the zone, but it's back now for Peugeot. He gets it to O'Kane. O'Kane chips it up into the zone, holding with some pressure. Puck comes out. Larsh in the neutral zone working at it. Gets it back, sends it back for Gilbert. Gilbert gets it behind the net, reverses, gets that back around for O'Kane. Bouncing puck, he settles it down, sends it cross ice for Holden. He gets that into the zone. He gets that over for O'Kane. He gets a shot just wide of the net. Judd gets the rebound. Behind the net, gets out front. Oh, Holden just missed that one. Stick was tied up. Now Burlington gets it into our zone. Pressure from Judd ties him up. Young chips it out of the zone. Young gets it out of our zone. Burlington picks it up in their zone. Now Peugeot getting possession back for the Cards. Sends that around for Young. Young gets that cross ice to Judd. 2-on-1. Gets that over for Noble. Big save from the goalie. Glove out of nowhere. Now they come the other way. Puck goes in the zone. Off his shin pad. Pressure from Judd. Gets the puck back. He chips that up to the neutral zone. Pressure from Noble. Where's Vicky to Burns? Burns to Noble. Noble enters the zone. Carson goes to the net. Rebound shot just a little high. No rebound. Nelson takes the puck back into St. Charles territory. They dump it in. Burns gets there. Burns reverses, gets that up for Billard. Billard tries to get that up center, and Marshfield finds it. Marshfield into the zone. Gets it into the corner. Pressure from Nelson. Puck's back to the blue line. Burns, the old fake shot, gets that to Gauchi. Now Nelson gets it over the blue line. They take it back in the zones, keeps us onside. Comes back into St. Charles territory. Burns blows a wheel. Where's Bicky diving, and Kessler makes the save. 1.5 minutes to go, or minute 29 to go in the first. Couple donuts up on the scoreboard. Off the draw, shots blocked. McLean gets the puck in the corner. Up the sidewall. Nelson's in the way. They get that out front. Can't get a shot. Puck's back to the blue line. That shot gets through, but blocked in front. Now Daniel Crossway picks up the puck, takes it to Nelson territory. Gets a shot on net. Gauchi follows it up. Nelson sends up the boards. Marshfield keeps it in. Gets some help from Carson. At the blue line, Marshy keeps it in. Comes across. Tries to feed that to Carson. Hit his skates. Puck comes back to St. Charles. Boards. Goalie plays it behind the net. Pressure from Larsh and Holden. Puck comes up the sidewall. Into the zone. Crossway with nice hits. Gets the puck back. Returns the hit again. Shot goes wide. Out of bounds. St. Charles gets a change in. 19 seconds to go in the period. Kessler sends that away. 10 seconds in the period. Young fires that cross ice for Judd. Knocks that out of the air. 2 seconds. That's going to be the end. It's weird, but it's kind of neat on its yeah. For sure. My favorite. Bushes in the roof. Territory. Nelson fires it up center. Can't get it out of the zone. Holden keeping it in. Slot. He gets a shot. Blocker save. Rebound down for Larsh. He gets a shot off a stick. And now the puck come around the side. There we go. Holden keeping them in the zone. And Nelson regroups. All right, here comes Noble, Judd, and Young up front. Markowicz on the point with Peugeot. Off the draw. Puck comes out front, cleared away by Peugeot. Judd picks it up, gets it to the blue line. It's knocked back for Markowicz. Puck gets away from Markowicz. Nelson passes out front. Can't connect. Puck goes out of bounds. Face off inside. Puck was in the zone when it went out of bounds, so face off back in the zone. Nelson gets it back to the blue line. There's shot. Saved by Kessler. Rebounds loose. Another save. Another rebound. That one, blocked by Noble off his back, it looked like. And then Young gets it out of the zone. Pressure from Judd and Noble. Young chips it up for Liam. Liam gets it into the zone. There we go. Pressure. In comes the Cards, but puck comes out. Net comes off. Young clears it out of the zone. Noble racing after it. Noble gets there, takes a hook, gets it across. Young to Gilbert. Gilbert to Noble. Noble for Gauchi. His shot is saved. 10 minutes to go in the second. Nelson fires that all the way down the ice. Icing called. Out of bounds. Yeah. Billard on the other wing and Crossway on the point. Puck goes in the corner. Billard plays the body. Nelson sends up in the neutral zone. Crossway to Gauchi. Nelson chips it up to the blue line. Crossway knocks it down. His shot on net. Goalie hanging on to it. Okay, Larsh on the draw. O'Kane and Holden on the wings. Puck comes out for Burns. He sends that cross ice. Nelson goes D to D in their zone. Chipped up the side. Burns is there for it. He gets that to Holden. Holden over for O'Kane, but Nelson gets in the way. Nelson chips it up to the blue line, carries it in the zone. Shot blocked by Crossway. He hands that off for O'Kane. O'Kane chips it into the zone. It's in his feet. Holden knocks it out. Gets a shot just a little high. Larsh keeps it in the zone. Back check from O'Kane and Larsh. As Nelson re-enters our zone shot into the glove. Koozies, he hangs on to that. 8:42 to go in a scoreless game in Niagara Falls, Ontario. All right, Noble on the draw. Gets over for Markowicz. Markowicz on the point with McLean. Markowicz goes for a little skate. Comes up to the neutral zone. All the way into Nelson territory. Down low, gets puck behind the net. Sends that back around. Markowicz. Markowicz hits Judd at the red line. Re-enter Burlington territory. Going to connect on the pass. We get it back. Send it back into the zone. Back on side. Puck comes up to the neutral zone. Markowicz chips it up. Burlington gets it back. That shot saved by Kessler. Rebound. Sent up to Young. Young gets the loan. Takes it into the corner. Gets some support from Noble now. Puck's coming up the side. Sent out of the zone. That's going to be icing. 7.5 minutes to go. Okay, battle down low. Marshfield and Wiersbicky working at it. Get some help from Carson. Pass in front, knocked away. Nelson gets it back. Coming back out front. Billard chips it up for Gauchi. He gets it out of the zone. Puck's played up the side. Billard keeps it in the zone. Getting some help from Carson. Puck sent up the side. Peugeot tying up at the red line. Nelson gets a shot. That's blocked in front. Picked up by Wiersbicky, but it's back in the zone. Puck comes up the sidewall. Wiersbicky hits the brakes. Sends that around. Now Peugeot gets a piece of it. Marshfield to Gauchi out of the zone. Peugeot cross for Wiersbicky. Up the bowl. Now Holden picks up the puck, chips it down the ice. Slow roll. It's going to make it for the ice. 5:40 to go in the second. Crossway clears it off the glass, kept it at the blue line. Back check from Judd, gets that to Noble. Noble back to Judd. He's got a lane, he gets a shot, goalie gets a piece of it. Young's there to keep it in, sends it down low for Liam. Liam walks out, tries to get that in the high slot, couldn't connect. Nelson picks it up and heads out with it. Crossway plays the body in the zone, gets the puck back, goes behind the net, takes a couple hooks. Battle, help from Young. Daniel through the neutral zone. That's a high stick. No call there. Just under 5 minutes to go in the second. Marshfield, Billard, and Gauchi. Burns, and Markowicz on the point. Shot on net, steered away by Kessler. Billard picks up the rebound, chips it up the boards. Gets over the blue line. Marshfield, I'm not sure why. And battle down low. Nelson sends it back to the blue line. Marshfield blocks a pass. Billard with some pressure. Now back to the blue line. Nelson couldn't connect on that one. It comes out into the neutral zone. Pressure forces them back into their zone. In the red line, dump it into St. Charles territory, behind the net. Nelson gets there first. Pass intercepted by Gauchi. Hands it off to Marshfield. Marshfield gets it into the zone. Gets some help from Carson now. Over for Billard. Deep into the corner. Carson with some pressure. Into Nelson territory. We're back on side. Larson Holden with some pressure. Holden gets a piece of it. Nelson gets it in the zone. Pass out front, knocked away. O'Kane picks up the loose puck, skates it up, hands it off to Holden, gets it into the zone. Holden in the corner with it. Double teamed. Puck's chipped back to the blue line. Wiersbicky racing after it, gets a piece of it. Knocked down by Wiersbicky. Maybe the crossbar there. Puck's in the corner. Coming up the side. Kept in at the blue line. There we go. Playing the body, and Holden gets it up for O'Kane. O'Kane chips it up off the official. Now Holden dumps it into the zone. Puck coming up through the neutral zone. Noble gets it back. Now it's back for Wiersbicky. Cross ice for Judd. Into the zone in front for Nobes. Just couldn't get that shot off. Now down low, Judd gets it back over for Jackson. Back for Liam. In the high slots. Past one, walks out, gets a shot. Noble deflects it. It's in the 5-hole, but the goalie shuts the door. 2 minutes to go in the second period of a scoreless game. Back to the blue line, shot, deflected, goes in the corner. Noble chips it up. Judd working at it. Nelson fires it back in, and Crosswaite's on it. Daniel off the glass. It's back for Daniel, up for Liam. Kept in at the blue line. Shot from the slot on net, rebound, saved. But now puck is still loose. There we go. Noble comes out with it. He enters the zone. It's in some feet, but now Nelson gets it back. Nice and waved off. Minute to go in the second period. Peugeot with the puck. Gets it over for Younger. 47 seconds to go in the second. All right, puck comes out of the zone. Chipped in, ice and waved off. Gilbert battles, gets it up for Billard. Billard bounces off the boards and out. Ice and waved off. They're going to wave off every icing they can. I don't mind that. It's consistent at least. Puck comes out front, knocked away by the goalie. Nelson gets it back in the neutral zone. They dump it in. Gilbert to Billard. 10 seconds in the period. Deflected out of bounds. 5 seconds to go in the period. Puck's cleared out of the zone of a second. Well, today's Thursday. Tournament runs Thursday, Friday. Elimination games on Saturday. Following the elimination games on Saturday, the World Junior Training Camp for the national junior team will be here. So, we'll leave you with that as we wait for the Zam. All right, here we go. Third period action out in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Home of the Niagara Falls Canucks Junior A Hockey Club. All right. Larsh on the draw. Holden and O'Kane on the wings. Burns and McLean on the point to start us off. Of course, number 32, Kessler Kuzis back in net. Puck's back in our zone. Burns gets it behind the net. Chain looks like he stepped on the puck there, blew a wheel. Burns sends that back around. Holden to Larsh. Larsh gets it up over the blue line. It's back in the zone. Behind the net for McLean. McLean chips up the boards for O'Kane. Back for McLean. And around for Burns. O'Kane chips it up through center into the zone. Holden gets there. Sends that cross ice into the zone. O'Kane back for McLean. And it goes behind the net for Holden. Puck sticks on the ice. Still sticking. Holden gets out front now. Chipped away by Nelson. Gilbert's shot just a little high. Nelson chips it up out of the zone. They get back in our zone. Shot off the blocker. Puck goes behind the net for Gilbert. Vinny picks it up, goes for a little skate. Gets past one. And chips it up again. Nelson gets it back, though, and it's back from McLean. McLean chipped up the boards. Nelson keeps it in. Back check from Judd, knocks it over the blue line. Judd blocks it, gets it to Noble. Noble gets in, his shot, save, rebound. Cleared out to the blue line. Wiersbicky shot on net, deflected away. Close call, and it's back. Wiersbicky gets it back. That's got to be offside. Wow. All right. On the corner, sent back down low. Wiersbicky knocks it up for Judd. I guess that could have been a hand pass. Judd chips it out into the neutral zone, off the boards. Noble gets there. Boards the icing, gets it out front. Nelson chips that away. Now it's back for Wiersbicky. Cross for Gilbert to Young. Young chips that into the zone. Head off for a change. Out comes pass out front. Blocked. Shot ends up on net. Carson hangs on to it. Sorry. Kessler hangs on to it. Well, interesting format for the tournament. Each game is worth 5 points. Each period, you get to win a point. And then if you win the game, you get an additional 2 points. Currently, each team has 1 point because we split 2 periods. So 0.5 each equals 1 point. Wow, no call there as Crossway's hooked the whole way into the zone. Real quick to wave off the icing zone. I guess we could have got a trip in there, so I guess refs are consistent on not calling too much. Puck comes out now for Carson. Carson gets it into the zone. Gets caught in some feet, gets it back to Billard. To Crossway, his shot can't connect. 3-on-2 the other way now. They get offside! Wow! Wow, 5 feet offside, no big deal.
Somebody needs to get on the line, man. Holy Christ.
Shot goes wide. Now, Noble gets the puck back. Sends it over for Judd. Judd gets it into the zone. His shot is in. Water bottle off the net. Noble to Judd. 1-0 for the Birdies. And some love from the team. So just a random other team. I didn't say that, but I mentioned the water bottle. Back in their zone now. 10:45 to go in regulation. O'Kane with some pressure. Getting help from Holden and Larsh. It's back for Burns. Over Holden to Larsh. Across for O'Kane. And he's wheeling after it. O'Kane gets it into the zone. Nelson gets it back into our zone. Offside. No big deal. In the zone. Nelson gets it in the corner. Pressure from Mark. That shot blocked by Larsh. And Markowitz chips it out of the zone. O'Kane racing after it. It's got some pressure, but it comes out. Now Noble forcing it. Puck gets in the zone. Crossweight picks up the loose. Oh no, that's not Crossweight. That's Wiersbicky. Over for Noble up into the zone. Puck comes up the side. Nelson comes out of the zone with it. Get into card territory. Shot saved from Kessler. Young gets the rebound. Cross ice for Judd. He gets a piece of it. Gets a shot. Oh, almost got that again. Young's there to keep it in. Backdoor to Noble. It's loose. Cleared away. Now shot from McLean. Just a little wide. Puck comes out. 2-on-2 the other way. Wiersbicky ties up. Gets the puck. Chips that up over to the blue line. Now Nelson takes it out. Pressure from Noble. Now in comes Younger. Back in the zone. McLean picks up the loose puck. Hands it off to Wiersbicky. Gets caught in his feet. They get out front with it. It's at the blue line. There you go. Judd plays the body. McLean gets the puck off the boards and out. Wow, the first icing of the game called, I think. Eight and a half minutes to go. And Crossway chips it up. Marshfield and Gauchi work at it. Hands it off to Crossway. Daniel into the zone. Toe drag gets in front. Can't get a shot though. Nelson takes the puck out into the neutral zone. Get into the zone. Pressure. Shot. Glove save. Pass out front. Shot goes wide. Nelson gets a puck back to the blue, over the blue. It's caught in, gets that down low, but Nelson gets it back. They chip it up into the zone. Knocked away by Crossweight. Nelson gets a loose puck. In comes Marshfield. Knocks him off. And then Gilbert to Billard. Billard in the zone. Gets a shot. Oh, nice low shot. Rebound comes out wide. Carson tied up on the side ball. In comes Crossweight to keep it in. Good shot on net. Steered away by the goalie. Picked up behind the net by Nelson. They chip it out of bounds. We'll get a face-off in their zone. 7 minutes to go in regulation time. 1-0 for the Cards. Off the draw, it's loose. They get their first pass out front. Can't connect. Holden intercepts that and takes it back into Nelson territory. At the blue line, he drops that for Larsh. Larsh gets it into the zone. Puts it out front. Knocked away by Nelson. Comes back to the blue line and out. Won't make it for icing. Kessler's going to play that for Peugeot. Now Peugeot off the glass. Around for Holden. Holden sends that cross ice out of the zone. Ice and waved off right away. Hustle! Nelson chips it up in the neutral zone. Peugeot has it. Peugeot fires that back up into the zone. Hits O'Kane with it. And then Burns fires it in the zone. Puck's back. We didn't play that, so Iceland waved off. Burns gets it behind the net. Up for out of the zone. Noble with some pressure. Gets it over for Liam. Liam comes in with it. Tries to get that out front. Hits some. Burns keeps it in. Gets that to Noble. Over for Judd. Judd across. Back for Noble. His shot on net. Rebound. Put it away by Nelson. Young with some pressure in the corner. Nelson comes out with it. They re-enter our zone. Offside again. Shot deflected in the net. Fuck. We got a 1-1 game. But comes back into the zone. Where's Bicky? Takes it behind the net. For Marshfield, over for Billard. Billard into the zone with it. Behind the net. Gets it back to the blue line. Markowicz gets a shot through traffic. It's in! Goal in regulation. Not sure if that was tipped or not. Markowicz taking the credit for now. Either way, St. Charles. Off the draw. Nelson chips up to our zone. They get it in. Marshfield gets it back. Cross for Markowicz. Markowicz chips that out into the neutral zone. Nice work from Carson. Gets it in to Nelson territory. Gets it on net. Oh, goalie makes 2 saves. And they chip it out of the zone. Markowicz to Wiersbicky. Getting a little excited here. Back to Markowicz. Up for Gauchi. Back for Markowicz. Up center. And into the zone. They're going to wave that off anyways. It doesn't make it that time. That's a true. They get up into the zone. Drop pass. Shot is saved by Kuzis. Just under 4 minutes left. All right. Noble gets that back around the boards. Up for Young. Out of the zone. Young gets it behind the net. Tries to get that back around for Judd. It's chipped back to the blue line. McLean keeps that in. Pressure from Young in the corner. We'll chip it in. Gilbert comes in, ties up, gets some help from the blue line. They keep that in. Shot blocked by Noble. Rebound loose in front. Whistle goes. We'll start a GoFundMe for that. Just kidding. Shot saved by Kessler. Rebound cleared away. Another shot that goes over the net. Gilbert after it sends it up the boards. Help from Marshfield. Now Billard gets it over the blue. In the neutral zone, Nelson sends it up center. Back in our zone. We get a stick on it and knock the puck away. Gilbert fires off the glass to the blue line. Nelson gets a shot into the corner. McLean gets up to the blue line. Nelson keeps it in. Goes in the corner. Back to the blue line. That shot is saved. Behind the net. Tries to wrap around. Puck's loose. They get that one in. Tie game 2-2 with 2:14 to go in regulation. Young and Judd on the wings. Burns and Crossway on the point. And fire that in the zone off the draw. Burns sends that behind the net. Hands it off to Noble. Noble comes up the side with it. Takes the hook, gets into the zone. There we go. Plays the body down low, gets some support, but Nelson fires it up center. That's going to be icing. 1:47 to go in a 2-2 game. Puck goes behind the net. Nelson gets there. Pressure from St. Charles, but it comes out. Drop pass shot goes wide. Now Nelson gets another shot. That's saved. There we go. Chip it up over the blue line. Offside. Offside, they call all day. Timeout called. All right, minute 19 left in regulation. Gilbert and Crossway. Liam and Carson on the wings. Carson gets it into the zone. It's cleared out. Crossway gets it back. Over for Gilbert. Back for Crossway. Crossway chips it in. Daniel gets it back in the zone. They kick it right back out. 1 minute to go in regulation. Nelson gets that in. That's going to be icing. 49 seconds. 2-2 game. Back to Judd. His shot's on net. Rebound cleared away. Gauchi after it. He's tying up. Gets it to Liam. Oh, Liam gets boarding.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. From Carson. Gets the puck loose. 30 seconds. Gilbert. Gilbert gets it up the boards. Carson chips it up into the zone, but Nelson gets it back. They get a shot. That's saved. Gauchi clears that out of the zone. 5 seconds on the board. You got to skate for that. They're calling a timeout. They're pulling their goalie for Nelson. They got 1 second. All right, they're going to load up the front, try to take a shot off the draw. Noble on the draw, ties him up, no shot. Out of a possible 5 points, each team will get 2.5 for this game. We'll be back at it again tonight around 7 p.m.